Hey, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Katie.
You are listening to Not-Stalgia. Kate, can you describe what I'm handing you?
Oh, it's the book Madeline.
Can you share some memories, if you have any, of this book?
You know what? I had the book Madeline, but I actually, instead of just the one story, I had like an anthology, like a treasury. And I say treasury literally because I really liked Madeline.
You have fond memories of Madeline?
Absolutely.
Was Madeline, you were young enough for it to be read to you, or were you reading it on your own, or what?
Definitely young enough for it to be read to me. And I remember liking all the stories, but my favorite story, and this is very on brand for me, is the one where Madeline gets her appendix out.
Yeah, I think that's the first one.
And is it?
I think so.
Oh, because
You would like
A,
that.
I was very interested in like what could possibly go wrong with my body. And B, loved for whatever reason, and I don't even know what this says about me, but loved a story where a character ended up in the hospital and needing to be taken care of.
That's kind of weird.
I know, it's weird.
Huh. Okay, so you have fond memories of Madeline. It takes place in France, right? I'm not making that up. Oh,
Yeah,
the cover
absolutely.
is the Eiffel Tower.
The Eiffel
right?
Tower is
Okay,
on the
thank
cover.
you. So it's definitely little girls in France. Can you pronounce the author's name?
I mean, is he German? I don't know.
He's Austro-Hungarian.
Oh, my peeps. It's probably Ludwig Bemelmans?
I like to say Beemelmans. That's not it. That's like calling it Pokemans.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Well, Kate, Madeline is a picture book that you're holding in your hands. Check out the inside of the front cover. I got this used, and it has a child's name inscribed in it.
Aw.
What's their name?
Cara Van Elfen.
Cara Van
Cara,
Elfen.
if you're listening, I
Let
have
us
your
know
book.
if you want the book back. Probably not, because
Write in.
someone sold it to thriftbooks.com.
Aw.
Use
Cara's probably dead.
use discount code Not-Stalgia on thrift books. Maybe it'll work. I don't know.
Oh man, I remember really liking these illustrations as a kid, and I really like them now.
Aren't they cool? They're like kind
Yeah.
of rough. Like I assume it's charcoal kind of thing going on.
I adore
Limited
it.
color palette. So, Kate, this book, Madeline, was written by Ludwig Bemelmans in 1939. And this Ludwig Bemelmans guy, he lived a very interesting life. Here's just a few small anecdotes for you.
Incredible.
So he's born in Austria-Hungary, which that country stopped existing in his lifetime. It was split up into not just Austria and Hungary, but also Bosnia and
Herzegovina.
Macedonia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just feel like that's weird. Your country you're from, like, splits up while you're alive. Like, I don't know.
I mean, it's probably going to happen to us too. So
By the time this episode comes out. When he was 6, his father abandoned his family, and at that time, Bemelman's mother and his governess were both pregnant by his father when his father
Damn.
abandoned the family, and I couldn't find out if he ran off with the governess or he left everybody.
he probably left everybody.
He's
you
like,
know?
this is too much.
Daddy Bemelman's your machine.
So,
Damn.
his mother moves him to Germany, where he attends like extremely strict schools. This is Germany circa like 1904.
Okay,
and he like hates it. You know, he really does not like the scary authority of these schools. But he becomes interested in hotel hospitality, and he becomes an apprentice there in like a hotel. I don't know if he was interested necessarily, or that's just like what they made him do.
They were like, listen, the German school system was like, there are 3 careers. You can choose between these 3. Good luck.
So he claims his mentors just absolutely beat him brutally every day. Like, you know, if he didn't like fold a napkin right or whatever.
It was
he was doing.
Germany in 1904.
So allegedly at one point he turned to the mentors and he's like a teenager now, or maybe like late preteens. Preteen didn't exist back then.
No, you were either a child or a full-fledged adult.
Right. So he's you know, probably double digits his age here. And he supposedly turned to the mentor and said, look, if you beat me again, I'm going to shoot you. And the mentor beat him again, so he shot him. He didn't kill him, but Bemelman supposedly as like a child shot his mentor just to maim him.
Okay, like probably in the leg. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
and
got
for
it.
punishment, he was given the choice of either going to an even stricter reform school or being sent to live in the United States, and he chose the United States.
Nice.
And he's a teenager, again, you have to imagine, a young
Yeah.
teenager in the story. Although later his grandson implied that whole shooting story was made up.
Interesting.
It's just that Bemelman is literally a storyteller. That's his job, so he might have just been like, this is a great story. So his grandson says probably that didn't happen. He just kind of was a troubled child who acted out a lot. The young Bemelman gets sent to the United States. World War I rolls around while he's perfect drafting age. And so he goes to fight I don't think he was drafted. I think he enlisted. He goes to fight for the United States Army as an officer, even though he's like a pretty recent immigrant.
Yeah.
I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Very
After World War I, he survives. He works in hotels in America. He's working at the Ritz-Carlton in New York, like all that hospitality training worked. But he starts getting like a hankering for painting. He becomes very interested in painting. So he quits the Ritz-Carlton in 1926, and he becomes a painter and cartoonist. He's going to pursue these interests. And by 1934, he writes and illustrates his first children's book, which is called Hansi, Hansi. And then in 1939, a few years later, he writes Madeline. It took him 14 years to write a sequel, though. I find this very interesting. So Madeline's just out, you know. I don't think he actually spent 14 years working on it, but he didn't write the sequel till 1953. The sequel is called Madeline's Rescue. He ended up writing 7 books. 2 of them were published after his death. They were like collections of stories that had been published in magazines, and they were collected into a book.
Did Ludwig Bemelmans have ADHD?
It's very possible it took him 14 years to write the sequel.
He waited for 13 years, 9 months, and 15 days, and then he decided to write the sequel one night.
He wrote it and then wrote 7 more right
Yep.
away. His grandson wrote 5 more Madeline books. So the total, you know, there's the original and then the grandsons. The first time it's adapted into animation, because this so lends itself to animation, is a 1952 UPA theatrical cartoon directed by Bob Cannon, just called Madeline. Here's what that looks like with that classic UPA style. You know, UPA and Madeline combined are both a good combination, I think.
In an old house in Paris that was covered with vines lived 12 little girls in 2 straight lines.
It's very minimal animation, right? But it lends itself very well because of the art style that Bemelmans has. Like, it's not a departure really in any way.
The backgrounds look like straight out of the book. Beautiful. UPA. We need to do something more with UPA. We watched the Frosty the Snowman cartoon, which I think was also directed by the same guy, Bob Cannon. Anyway, the next time it gets adapted, this Czechoslovakian animation company made a series of these starting in 1959. They made a series of Madeline. They're considered educational films. The English versions were like available in public libraries somehow. I don't quite understand. I couldn't find all the information, but they're these Czechoslovakia has a rich history of animation that we don't really you and I don't talk about very much. I feel like it doesn't get talked about a lot. You know,
I'm actually shocked that we haven't talked about it. And by talking about it, I mean you trying to tell me about it while I'm trying to fall asleep.
They've been in the animation game basically since the beginning of animation. But, you know, America and Japan pretty much are the only 2 that I feel like get talked about in the wide public discourse. Anyway, it doesn't look is it that different than the UPA?
No, that looks very similar to the UPA.
In an old house in Paris that was covered with vines lived 12 little girls in 2 straight lines.
This one that we're looking at is Madeline and the Bad Hat from 1960. But anyway, so there's series of those. And then the next thing, I think it's the very next year, Shirley Temple has a TV show where she's like in her 30s by now. She's just hosting.
Yeah. Shirley
and
Temple's our age. Okay.
She's adapting stories like fairy tales and books. So here's a little clip of the live action Shirley Temple storybook Madeline from 1960.
Remember, in an old house in Paris that was covered with vines lived 12 little girls in 2 straight lines. They left the house at 9:30 in 2 straight lines, in rain or shine. The smallest one was Madeline.
I don't know who that man is, but here's what it looks like, you know.
Yeah. I'm seeing very 1960s looking kids. But the set that they've made is delightful. It's supposed to look like the illustrations in the book. So there's a lot of like smudging and like charcoal situations.
It's like a really beautiful like high school theater set, right?
Absolutely.
But on purpose, it looks hand drawn.
My question is, did they do this for just one episode? Like they just made this thing?
Yeah. I mean,
man, Shirley Temple had a lot of pull, I guess.
Each episode was a different storybook. So that's a good point. They constructed that. I mean, that's how it was, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So a little live action. The point is, it got adapted a lot. It was very well known. In 1968, Carol Channing put out a record where she reads Madeline and several other Bemelman stories. Of
course she did.
Her voice was associated with Madeline for a while.
In an old house in Paris that was covered with vines lived 12 little girls in 2 straight lines. In 2 straight lines, they broke their bread and brushed their teeth and went to bed. They smiled at the good and frowned at the bad. And sometimes they were very sad.
But the man whose voice is, well, I guess before I tell you, did you watch the cartoon at all as a kid? Or did you only have the book?
I think I only had the book.
This is very interesting. You didn't have access. Like, you would have loved this.
No, absolutely.
One, because it's the Madeline cartoon, and two, because after Carol Channing is known as associated with Madeline from the 60s till the 80s, in 1988, HBO makes a half-hour animated special based on the first book, and the narrator is Christopher Plummer.
What?
Your boy. So Christopher Plummer's voice forevermore becomes associated with Madeline. He keeps this job for years as the narrator of the Madeline cartoon.
That's my man's.
So I can't believe you never got to witness this. And when I was seeing it, I'm like, oh God, change the channel. You know, like I had no interest whatsoever. I didn't have the book, and I avoided this cartoon like the plague. But
And you didn't understand what a zaddy Christopher Plummer was.
correct.
Jesus.
If I had known, maybe I would have watched it as a little boy. So this cartoon, this special, they just do one special based on the first book, 1988 HBO. It was a big hit, so they went on and they made a special based on all the books, you know, because there's only like 6 books basically. So between 1988 and 1991, they made 6 Madeline specials, all narrated by Christopher Plummer. First one was on HBO, but the remaining 5 premiered on the Family Channel. In 1993, Deke made a Madeline TV series for the Family Channel. Basically, this is considered a continuation of the specials. So they made 20 episodes that aired between 1993 and 1994. You still got Christopher Plummer, miraculously. Then for some reason in 1995, Deke made another season, but they changed the name of the show to The New Adventures of Madeline, and it aired on ABC instead. I don't know why, but Christopher Plummer is still the narrator. I don't get it. It's like they did this with the Batman animated series too. They like changed the name, The New Adventures. Anyway, by the end of the 90s, all the episodes of Madeline were airing on Playhouse Disney. That's where I might have stumbled upon it. That was like Disney Channel's preschool programming block. It was on before school, and because I had just such poor self-regulation skills, I would, of course, while getting ready for school, like turn a TV on, you know. In 2000, Disney ordered another season of the show from Deke, so they made a third season with 26 more episodes that aired from 2000 to 2001. So long story short, all in total, this show was kind of stretched out, but they had 3 seasons of 59 episodes plus the 6 specials, which are now considered part of the first season. A little confusing. They made a direct-to-VHS movie of this cartoon, Madeline Lost in Paris, in 1999. They made a TV film, My Fair Madeline, which aired on Nickelodeon in 2002. I don't know if that's like a spoof of My Fair Lady, but I'd wager it is based on the name. Another direct-to-DVD film, Madeline in Tahiti, in 2005. I'm very curious about that.
Well, Tahiti's a French colony.
Mm-hmm. Did you know there was a live-action Madeline film starring Frances McDormand as, what's the nun's name? Miss
Clavel?
Yes. Did you know that in 1998? You missed that too? You didn't even go see that?
No.
So those are all the Madeline things. The last thing to mention is there was a series of educational point-and-click computer games, Madeline games from 1995 to 1999. They made 10 of those. So what I thought we could do, Kate, is just watch one of the specials. I'm going to let it be Katie's choice here. Ready? Madeline, the original, which I'm 99% sure is the, what is it, her appendix?
The appendix.
Madeline's Christmas. Madeline's Rescue, Madeline and the Bad Hat, Madeline in London, or Madeline and the Roma people. So, what do you think?
I'm stuck between original and Bad Hat.
Do you remember those stories, like the Bad Hat story? That's one of the books.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, you want
let's
to flip a coin?
Let's do the OG.
The OG. Okay, we're gonna watch the original Madeline special, premiered on April 9th, 1988. Christopher Plummer's voice.
Mostly so I can imagine all the things that maybe will go wrong with my body.
In an old house in Paris that was covered with vines lived 12 little girls in 2 straight lines.
Look at those cute little illustrations of France.
What do you know about France, Kate? Have you ever...
Fight. Do you think that the children are at a boarding school or are they orphans?
I always assumed they were orphans, but knowing that he was in boarding school makes you think maybe it's a boarding school.
I think Madeline just has ADHD, right?
I think she has a little oppositional defiant disorder too. Bonne nuit, mes enfants. Just so pleasant to be read a bedtime story by Christopher Plummer, and don't say anything weird about that.
I'm just saying. Madeline is out here starting You're just throwing their pillows at each other.
Absolute mayhem.
This is every night. This is exhausting.
It's funny you like this because you were such a well-behaved child. You would never dare.
In the book, she's just like not afraid of like lions and mice and stuff.
Oh, she's not quite
so. She doesn't cause us trouble.
Did some of your obsession with France come from just reading about these little French orphans as a little girl?
Perhaps. Look at their little outfits.
An absolutely terrifying French clown, a clown.
These creepy little children laughing in unison. I'd be like, get out of here. They're kind of like Children of the Corn, right? Where they're like, we frown at the bad.
Yeah, they're like all chastising a criminal.
It's like a war veteran wounded. Probably at the Palais des Invalides.
Madeline, just walk in the line. How hard is it? All right, I didn't know there was going to be a musical number. Is this about you? Her song, I'm Madeline, I might be very small, but inside I'm tall.
Poor Miss Clavel. This nun has to keep all these little girls under control, and
Madeline.
Madeline's just whipping them up into a frenzy.
Everyone, misbehave and endanger yourself. She has a lot of social capital in this group of orphans. If Miss Clavel could just get Madeline on her side, things would go great. She needs to weaponize Madeline's popularity. I'm gonna get you a little yellow hat.
I would look real cute.
Yeah, as a kid, I just had no desire to watch French orphans.
It's also that boy-girl cartoon, you know what I mean? Boy-girl cartoon dichotomy where you're like, this is a boy show, this is a girl show, you know? Madeline, don't touch vermin.
Here's Madeline about to fall into the Seine. I do like that she has a little French accent. That's
I know,
nice.
isn't it cute?
Was that a bubbly water or just a wine that she was
just,
drinking?
Baby, it's the 1940s. They had wine at school.
The song is not the most inspired thing in the world. It's the second time we're hearing a song where the main refrain is, I am Madeline.
Also, just imagine being Miss Clavel having to comfort all these 11 other kids. Look at this preposterous head covering that the nurse is wearing. Looks like bird wings. All right, so with Madeline gone, everything's thrown off. They're mad at the clown. They're happy to see a thief.
We love crime.
Madeline's living the life.
No wonder you wanted to have a medical procedure. She gets ice cream, she gets little treats, she gets waited on hand and foot.
Just imagine a little bus in 1940s France full of singing little girls.
Doll House from Papa.
Yeah, it's her papa.
So she is a boarding house student. Okay, they're not
Yeah,
orphans.
she's at a boarding school.
She has a papa who sent her a dollhouse, so he's currently alive. Madeline is singing an entire song about her scar from her surgery.
Absolutely on point for
Very-
anyone who's ever
yeah.
interacted with a kid.
Very believable. Voila, my scar.
Another absolutely perfect part of the story is that all the other little girls also want to get their appendix out, which is hilarious and
They're all
so
jealous.
on point.
Voila, my scar. Voila, my scar. Come take a look at me. Regarde my scar. Oh, voila. Please tell me what you see. A C. A 3. A Z. A flea. A flea. Wee wee.
What'd you think?
That was very pleasant. I wish this cartoon looked even more like the book.
Me too, a little bit.
You know, it definitely lost something in translation. Just a little. The UPA cartoon had it a little more, but maybe they didn't feel confident they could sustain
Yeah.
that look that long.
Yeah, it's fine, but it's not, it doesn't look like the book.
Yeah, those drawings are really beautiful. But
Yeah.
I thought it was fun, you know. I think it did not hold my attention as perfectly as it could as a grown-up,
I
of
was
course.
very charmed by it, though.
Yeah, that's a
you
good
know?
word for it.
Yeah.
It is charming, and I think it would be fun to watch with a child, you know, to see them react to it. 'Cause
Sure.
it's got some part, you know, the repetitive music, things like that. I'm surprised. I was waiting for them to tell us more about what an appendix is. I feel like they kind of leave it pretty open, but I guess you're supposed to maybe ask a parent or an older sibling what that
Yeah,
is.
get a
They
little
have-
guidance.
Yeah, they have a whole funny conversation about like the girls all think it's in a different part of your body, you know. Yeah, I mean Madeline's just a little stirring kid, but she lives in France. How about you?
No, I thought it was super fun. Yeah, very charming, really enjoyable.
Would you have watched that as a kid if it was available to you
Sure, yeah.
on repeat?
Yeah.
Sorry, Kate, that you missed out. Everybody did. It was on HBO, for Pete's sake, but by our childhood, it was on Disney Channel, which you also did not have.
Also did not have.
In the days before schedules, meetings, and deadlines, there was something called childhood. And travel was easy, within one's own mind. Open a book, you'd be in Paris. Remember the house covered with vines where 12 little girls lived in 2 straight lines?
Down, down, down. I'm Madeline, and not afraid at all. I'm Madeline, and bravest of all.
Remember the story? Of the irrepressible Madeline in the days before schedules and meetings and comings and goings and rushing and beating those never-ending deadlines. Slow down, call up the magic, and remember. Share a moment from your childhood with someone little that you know. See Madeline, the musical, Thursday on HBO.